Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, distinguished guests. Many thanks for linking in to the launch of our Safer Together project. With myself, Michael Roberts from the Fire and Rescue Service. To my left, Conor Breen from the Older People's Social Work Service. And to my right, Peter Cassidy, also from the Fire and Rescue Service, and also doing a PhD with the Ulster University. Folks, this is 3 years in the making. And I suppose 6 years if you include Peter's in-depth PhD research. I'm delighted to be standing here launching this morning, but I do so on behalf of Conor. Conor has been suffering from a long-term illness. I'm also equally delighted that he's joined us this morning, albeit in a limited capacity. All three of us would dearly love to be standing with a physical presence in front of you this morning to launch this. However, due to COVID, we can't possibly do this. But looking into this internet camera comes with benefits. For those of you who really enjoy this launch this morning, we'll be able to watch it over and over and over again. And for those of you who couldn't join us, you will be able to link in at any time of your choosing. So rather than me ramble on, I want to pass you to Peter, who's going to give you the scope of this morning. Thank you, Peter.
Good morning, everyone, and thank you for logging in. As Michael said, I have been doing a part-time PhD for the last 6 years at Ulster University, and the Safer Together project is part of the outcome of that PhD research. So today we want to show you the resources that we have created that will hopefully reduce fire risk in the community for older people in particular. If you have any questions during this presentation, feel free to add them into the comments box and we will try to address them at a later stage in the presentation. Before we go into any detail about the resources that we have created, we would like to show you a short video, which is the Safer Together digital story.
The Safer Together project. Following several fire incidents in the Belfast area, Belfast Health and Social Care Trust and the Prevention and Protection Team at Northern Ireland Fire and Rescue Service teamed up to see how they could work together to reduce fire risk in the homes of older people in the community. Researchers at Ulster University have provided evidence that fire safety training is required for those working with older people, and they have joined the Trust and the Fire Service to help create resources to address the issues raised in their research. This partnership has created the Safer Together project, which has used co-production to develop resources to help reduce fire risk in the community. The initial idea was to assist and support staff in reducing fire risk in the homes they visit, while also seeking opportunities to engage with older people in the community to educate them about fire risk. Training sessions were set up to educate Trust staff about fire safety and inform firefighters about older people's services in the community. The fire station also opened its doors to over 100 service users for Older People's Day, which gave the crews opportunities to raise awareness of fire safety. The Safer Together project continues to develop, and so far over 80 social workers from all 8 teams in Belfast have been trained in fire safety, which has resulted in a 40% increase in referrals for home fire safety checks. Over 200 firefighters have also been trained in dementia awareness, and staff from both agencies continue to work together to develop referral pathways between the Belfast Health and Social Care Trust and Northern Ireland Fire and Rescue Service.
The Safer Together project has been developed using a partnership approach. This approach supports staff in joint fire safety interventions and visits. It is a holistic approach which actively engages both the social worker and older person in helping them understand and manage fire risk. We believe the Safer Together model is transferable across all health and social care settings. We are safer together.
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 As we as the production team basically watched that video, we became emotional. Approximately this time last year, almost to the day, we were in Central Fire Station with 100 of our older people celebrating Older People's Day. It was a day of fun, it was a day of learning about fire safety, it was a day of smiles and laughter. And unfortunately with COVID, that will not happen this year. But that event will happen in the future when COVID allows. It was also a day of tears. And when I talk about what the tears were, we had an 87-year-old gentleman who had attended our Older People's Day, who called myself and Michael over at the end of the day in tears. And initially our first reaction is, what have we done wrong? But actually he turned to us and kept saying thank you. And when I asked, why are you saying thank you? He says, I'm 87 years of age. I thought I would never create any new memories in my life. And today, picking up a fire hose, I created a new memory.
Okay, folks, so we are living through this COVID-19 pandemic, and everything that we're showing you today will continue through COVID. However, it will be carried out differently. We have changed in the Northern Ireland Fire and Rescue Service the way we carry out our home fire safety checks in order to minimise the risk to people we visit and also to our own personnel. As you can see from the picture, we have a firefighter that is wearing full PPE, and this is thought to protect the firefighter as well as the householder of the people we visit.
Okay, so we'll go on to talk about the resources that we've created and how they will hopefully help you to reduce fire risk in the community for older people. We were lucky enough to use co-production to create these resources. We had 2 co-production working groups. One was the Safer Together project team that you see here today, and the other was with older people from the Grove Wellbeing Day Centre. We were so lucky to be able to get their input, and the older people worked in partnership with us as equal partners to create the resources that we have for you today. Before we go into the details of those resources, I just want to pass you on to Michael, who's going to explain a fire safety advocate role that we created in the Grove Health and Wellbeing Day Centre.
So I suppose the picture you're looking at on the right-hand side brings back good memories. This was one of our focus groups, and this was held in the Grove Day Centre. We held this. We thought it was important to hold these focus groups to get an awareness of what the older people knows, their knowledge of fire risks within their home, and how they deal with those risks to try and eliminate them. Following the group meetings, some of the older people came and spoke to us. They were interested in actually delivering our message for us through different means, social clubs, bowling clubs, sports associations. They were keen to do that for us, and there was born the fire safety advocate role. So here is a clip of one of our advocates. This is Trevor delivering some fire safety advice to his peers.
Hi, my name is Trev. I'm here at the Grove Day Centre. I am a fire safety advocate for the Safer Together. I'm here to advise the over 50s in the complex regarding smoke alarms. I'm advising that each individual has a smoke alarm which is tested once a week.
So I'm sure you'll agree it was worthwhile having the older people's input into the resources, and now I just want to show you what we've created. So we have 2 training videos that we'll go into in more detail shortly. We also have a fire risk awareness form, an information booklet, a poster that we have created, some leaflets. We've made some smoking aprons available. We've also got alarms and torches. And we've got, lastly, bedding, fire-resistant bedding. We'll go into how we've created these, how we come up with them, the research behind it, and how you can get them and make them available for your service users. We created 2 training videos to increase fire safety awareness in the community. One was for social workers and health and social care workers, and the other was for older people themselves or the family, friends and neighbours of older people. We will show you part of the video at the end of this presentation, which will hopefully be useful not just to social workers but to others in the community that are working with older people.
We also then moved on to develop, using co-production, a fire risk awareness form. This is an aid memoir for social work and social care staff. It uses a person-centred approach. It assists and supports social workers and social care staff in identifying service users who are at a higher risk of fire within their home environment. This may be due to presenting behaviours, environmental issues, or the individual's ability to escape in the event of a fire. If a question has been answered yes, this is a red flag indicator and suggests there is an enhanced risk to the service user from fire. This will allow the social worker to discuss the identified risks with the service user, their family members or a nominated person. This supports the formulation of an action plan to manage identified risks. This could be in the form of a referral for a home fire safety check or a joint visit with the Northern Ireland Fire and Rescue Service. The fire risk awareness form and the information and advice provided following the joint visit has, in real life cases, assisted and supported the social worker in compiling a comprehensive fire risk assessment in partnership with the service user, their family members or a nominated person. This form links with all the other Safer Together training resources and has received positive feedback from social work and social care staff.
One of the resources that the project created was an information booklet. This booklet outlines what to do if risks are observed and what support is available in the community to help reduce fire risk. This was a direct action taken from the needs of the service providers during focus groups. Emollient creams would be one example of information found within the booklet. Using information from the National Fire Chiefs Council, advice is provided on fire risk associated with the creams.
We also created an A3 poster which outlines the main fire risks to look out for when visiting older people in the community. We created this poster because the feedback from focus groups was that often fire risk is not a priority as there are so many other things to deal with. The idea behind the poster is that it serves as a visual prompt to remind people to look out for fire risks while they're visiting the homes of older people.
In partnership with our older people, we co-produced a number of leaflets. A neighbours leaflet was created. Researchers identified the issue of neighbours not responding to smoke alarms. Co-production was used to develop a bespoke neighbours leaflet. This leaflet provides clear, concise, visual information and prompts. Following a referral by a social worker or social care coordinator for a home fire safety check, crews will deliver the neighbours leaflet into the surrounding homes. The project, as part of the neighbours leaflet, also developed a new strapline: prevent harm, raise the alarm. A door hanger was created using co-production, following suggestions from the older people within the group. Only a small number of service users could identify how they would escape in the event of a fire. To manage this, we created the door hanger in partnership with the older people. It contains important practical fire safety advice. The fire crews will work with the older person to develop a bespoke fire escape plan, which will be written on the back of the door hanger. This was developed by the older people as a solution to address their individual needs in the event of a fire. We also work with our older people to create a simple one-page solution with the aim of addressing the main fire risks.
The next resource was the smoking apron, which can be used to help prevent clothes from igniting due to smoking materials. Almost half the fire deaths in the last 10 years were directly related to smoking materials. Again, this was a resource that the service providers, through focus groups, had discussed as a method to help reduce fire risk. These aprons will help reduce the risk, but will not eliminate it.
The older people came up with devices to assist and support them in the event of a fire. These were a strobe alarm and a nightlight. An issue identified by the co-production service user group was the need for a portable, lightweight device that could attract attention in the event of a fire. The co-production solution was the development of a strobe alarm. The older person places this alarm in or near a window. The sound and visual strobe light alerts neighbours, passers-by, and alerts the emergency services that this room is occupied. This does not replace traditional smoke alarms, sensory support alarms, or telecare systems. In the event of a fire or an electrical failure, when the bedroom lighting goes out, the following solution was developed. A small portable plug flashlight. This light will illuminate when the electrical power fails, trips, or the older person within the older person's bedroom. This light is portable, lightweight. The older person can remove the torch from the plug, provides a lighting system that allows the older person to implement their fire escape plan and summon assistance.
As mentioned earlier, smoking materials are the biggest cause of fatal fires in Northern Ireland. The feedback from social workers was that often the risk associated with smoking materials is difficult to overcome with their service users. In an attempt to manage this, we provided a limited number of fire-resistant bedding for social workers in the Belfast Trust to provide for their service users. Okay, so as you see there, we have created those resources for use in the Belfast area. We have put all the resources into a pack, which you see here, which all the forms and the documents that we talked about in the presentation there are available. We also have everything on a pen drive for you, all the digital resources, and we have the resources available on the nifrs.org website.
And finally, to conclude today, we are going to show you an extract from the social work training video around fire risk.
Every year, many households experience a domestic fire like this one. Some fires result in damage to the property or equipment, but unfortunately, some cause serious injury or prove fatal. This is a reconstruction of an actual incident involving a lady called Sarah who was lucky to escape from the property.
Hello, fire service.
Hello, I'm calling about my neighbour.
So that's 3 Pine Way in Belfast, and what's the problem?
I hear her fire alarm, but I can see smoke through her window.
Mobilise, mobilise.
Everyone to 03. Everyone to 03.
After this fire in Sarah's home, she was admitted to hospital to be treated for smoke inhalation. Upon admission, a best interest meeting was arranged within the hospital, and one of the outcomes was to ensure the risks were reduced by carrying out a joint visit with Northern Ireland Fire and Rescue Service. Through partnership working, the fire crews were able to work closely with the Belfast Trust Older People's Social Work Service to reduce the fire risks in her home and facilitate a safe and effective discharge from hospital. Sarah was then able to return to her own home, which was made safer as a result of the multi-agency working between the agencies involved. The relationship between the Northern Ireland Fire and Rescue Service and the Belfast Health and Social Care Trust Older People's Social Work Service has meant that, 2 years after this incident, Sarah and others continue to live safely in their own homes. A key part of the Safer Together project is the development and implementation of referral pathways between the Fire and Rescue Service and the Older People's Social Work Service.
As Head of Prevention for Northern Ireland Fire and Rescue Service, my aim is to try and prevent accidental fires and fire deaths in the home. To achieve this, we engage in a range of community risk reduction activities, but we recognise that it's crucial to work in partnership and have partners in the community identifying people who may be at risk from fire.
Social work is fundamentally about improving and safeguarding social well-being, and our social work strategy emphasises this. We aim to support people to live safely, purposefully and well in their own homes, and working with our partner agencies to achieve this has always been essential to our practice.
Working in partnership with Belfast Trust's Older People's Social Work Service will broaden our reach and help identify those people at risk so we can try to stop fire from happening.
The promotion of well-being begins with safety, and Belfast Trust's Older People's Social Work Service, working in partnership with the Northern Ireland Fire and Rescue Service, can help to enhance and improve shared outcomes beyond what could be achieved in isolation.
The Safer Together project will aim to enhance the fire risk awareness and knowledge of health carers, family members, friends or neighbours who care for people in the community.
This enhanced partnership arrangement now can provide early intervention to identify, manage and mitigate fire risk with our service users. It helps people to have more control over their own environment by promoting honest and open conversations about the risk which fire poses to us all, and providing solutions.
By combining our resources and knowledge, we can work together to reduce the number of accidental fires and fire deaths.
The Safer Together project has been developed using a partnership approach. This approach supports staff in joint fire safety interventions and visits. It is a holistic approach which actively engages both the social worker and older person in helping them understand and manage fire risk. We believe the Safer Together model is transferable across all health and social care settings. We are safer together.
This video will show you what fire risks to look out for while working with service users living at home in the community and what to do if you observe any risks. It will also show you how you can work with the Northern Ireland Fire and Rescue Service to reduce the risks of the service users you visit.
This production will help you identify the causes of accidental fires in the home and look at ways to reduce the risks, and hopefully it will assist and support you in keeping your service users safe from fire. My goal is 0 accidental fire deaths in Northern Ireland, and I believe we are safer together.
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 Okay, so while we were watching that video, we got some questions in. One of them was, are these resources available outside Belfast? And I'm going to pass you on to Connor, who's going to answer that.
So initially, the social work strategy funded the project in the Belfast Trust area. The resources that were developed in partnership with our older people and with our social work staff and our social care staff. So currently, the resources are only available in the Belfast Trust area, but the hope of the project team would be that this project can be rolled across all health and social care.
Okay, I see there's another question coming in there, which is, in the presentation you discussed joint visits, and what does this entail, and how can it be arranged? I'll answer that one. I suppose it's looking at the skills and finding solutions together, and this is the whole purpose of the project, that collaborative approach between the service providers and the fire and rescue service, where we jointly go to visit someone within their home, identify those fire risks, assess them, and then give that advice. But what we have here is the social worker, friends, family, neighbour, that will be continuously calling with that person, and they can keep that advice fresh in that person's mind to make sure that the risk remains eliminated.
Okay, and the last question we have then is, how is this project being evaluated? And I'll answer that. When we were creating the resources, we used the co-production guide that the health service provided, and the last stage of the co-production is to co-evaluate. Now, we have been evaluating as we go along. We've gotten feedback from our partners, but we will evaluate it in long term to see the effect that these resources have in the community. So, as I said earlier, these resources are available on the NIFRS website, and they're in the community safety advice section. I'm going to pass you on to Connor, who's going to give us some thanks and end the programme for us today.
So, on behalf of the Safer Together project team, could I take the opportunity to personally thank basically all our older people who have been involved in the project, all our social work and social care staff who have actively participated in the project, to the firefighters and officers and support staff of the Northern Ireland Fire and Rescue Service for their continuous support of the project throughout. And finally, to the social work strategy.
Ladies and gentlemen, distinguished guests, thank you very much for linking in to the launch of our Safer Together project. Can I personally put my thanks for Connor for actually attending this morning, and also for the hard work and dedication that both Connor and Peter have put into this project. As I said at the start, 3 years in the making, 6 years if you include Peter's PhD research. I suppose, where do we take it from here? I'm hoping that we can get further funding. I would dearly love to see this being rolled out to the rest of the country, and hopefully we can get funding to do that. So if you do know where we could get that funding, and if you can help us with that, please get in contact. Remember, folks, we are safer together. Thank you very much.